Hello friends and potential friends. Some of you may have seen my recent potato harvest, something I kind of referred to as a failure, I believe. I received a few comments on that, expressing condolences for the failure and, oh, at least I tried, that sort of thing. And I appreciate all of those comments, but to be quite honest with you, I don't really consider that to have been a failure. I had never planned on growing potatoes this year in any case, but a few started sprouting in the kitchen, so as I usually do, I took them out and put them in the soil. I had an empty bed that wasn't doing anything, so why not? And in that video you saw the results. I did get some potatoes out of it. Not very many, they weren't very big, but who cares? I had fun doing it. So today I decided I'm going to go ahead and show you how we can turn that failure into a success story. And I'm going to do that by making a recipe that I grew up with, kind of comfort food. Pretty simple, potato soup. All you really need to make this potato soup is some potatoes, some milk, a little bit of butter, maybe an onion, salt and pepper, and I personally like to put ham in it, so I'll be pulling a jar of ham out of the pantry to add to it as well. Let's get started. I won't let you watch or make you watch all of the boring details. First thing I've got to do is clean up the potatoes and slice them up and get them in a pan and start boiling them. So let me get going on that, and I'll bring you back when I have something worth looking at. Okay, there's my potatoes all cleaned up and sliced up. You notice I left the skins on them. The only reason I did that is because they were growing out in my backyard and I know what goes into the soil out there. If I'm making this from potatoes I buy at the grocery store, I always skin them before I cook them. I cut them into slices about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm sure most of you know the thinner you slice them, the quicker they'll cook. For my potato soup, I like to have little chunks of potato in there too. I'm not making vichyssoise or any of that fancy stuff. I like to have the potato that I can bite into from time to time. So let me get some water on these and get them cooking, and I'll bring you back when we get to the next step. Okay, potatoes are boiling. This is going to take a little while to get them cooked down a little bit. Now I'll be sampling them in about 15-20 minutes, see how tender they're getting, and as I said, I'll bring you back to the next step. Okay, the potatoes are done, just barely fully cooked, but not yet falling apart. I went ahead and drained them, and now it's ready to add the rest of the ingredients. Got chopped up an onion while I was cooking the potatoes. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, but I've got some garlic here too. Seems that all that garlic that I plant for pest control, this year it produced some tiny little bulbs. Cute, huh? So I'm using one of those in this batch. I decided on rosemary, mainly because I couldn't decide which variety of basil I wanted to use. And the rosemary goes pretty good with the ham too. And there's the ham from something I canned back in 2017. And then milk. And salt and pepper to taste. So let's start putting this stuff in here. Add in the onion. That's quite a bit of onion, but I do like onions, so I'm not going to complain. Go ahead and put the garlic in there. And the rosemary. And now let's see how much ham I need. I probably won't use this whole jar. We'll see what looks good. Maybe I will use the whole jar. Darn, I was hoping to save some of that for an omelet later on. And now we just fill it up with milk. And that's going to make a pretty good batch of potato soup. Now we just turn the heat on Put it on about medium low and let this start heating up. And this is another oh, I forgot one ingredient. Hang on a second. I almost forgot. My mom always put a pat of butter. That's what, about a teaspoon? I'm not sure why she did, but she always did, so I don't want to forget it either. Now it's just a matter of heating it up slowly. A little bit of pepper. I tend not to use much salt anymore, but I'll put a little bit of salt in there too. So now I need to just heat it up to a light simmer. I'll have to stir it once in a while to make sure that the milk doesn't scorch. And the main point of this really is to get all the flavors blended together. And I find that by the time the onions start getting cooked a little bit, that's just about the right amount of time. So we'll let this cook for a while and I'll bring you back for the final reveal. Okay, soup's been cooking for almost 45 minutes. The onions are starting to become translucent. The potatoes are starting to fall apart a little bit. The milk is starting to thicken a little bit. I think it's time for a taste test. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, it is hot. I normally eat this with, put a few crackers in it. Yep, that's some good stuff. And to be honest with you, what I got out of that handful of potatoes and the other ingredients, the way I eat, that's going to give me at least 4, maybe 5 meals. How can you call that a failure? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to eat my supper. I'll see you on the next video.